What was first just a dream has become a frightening reality for those who may oppose us.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Star Wars has seemingly made, well, Star Wars history with Ahsoka Episode 6. And while yes, there's a number of amazing and crazy, insane WTF moments in Ahsoka Episode 6, Lars Mikkelsen's live-action Thrawn debut in Disney Plus's Ahsoka is a Star Wars first. Leading up to the Star Wars celebration in April of this year, one of the biggest mysteries surrounding the Ahsoka Disney Plus show, it was as of who would be playing Grand Admiral Thrawn within live action. And so, after showing the fan-favorite villain from the behind in the show's original teaser, Lucasfilm later confirmed that Lars Mikkelsen would be back for playing Thrawn within live action, having been the voice actor of the character in the Star Wars Rebels animated show, and that he would be doing the same, bringing this character to life in live action. 5 episodes later, he has finally arrived in Ahsoka, and in doing so, Lars Mikkelsen made Star Wars history. In Episode 6 of Ahsoka, Lars Mikkelsen made his long-awaited appearance as the blue-skinned Chiss leader, Grand Admiral Thrawn, making him the first actor to physically play a Star Wars villain within live action after having first portrayed them in an animation. And so, granted, Mikkelsen is far from the first to play a Star Wars character both in live action and with animation. However, for example, Katie Sackhoff remains the only actor to have played Bo-Katan Kryze after voicing her in The Clone Wars and Rebels and also in The Mandalorian. The same can be said for Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand due to her appearances in The Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, and Star Wars The Bad Batch animated show. Other actors who have voiced their characters at times while also playing them in real life or live action include Christopher Lee as Count Dooku in the prequels and then in Clone Wars, Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, and Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. Some actors have only provided the voice of their characters, though, however, within both mediums, such as Sam Witwer as Darth Maul and James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, and Steve Blum as Zeb. So, with this all being said, by no means is it necessarily Star Wars history or the first time that we've seen a voice actor make their character into live action for Star Wars, but this is the first time that we've seen a villain gone from animation to live action with their original voice actor. And so, with this all being said, other ways of how Thrawn has made Star Wars history is that Lars Mikkelsen's tenure as Grand Admiral Thrawn isn't the first time the villain and his actor have shattered pre-existing precedents. Apart from Dave Filoni as playing Chopper, Lars Mikkelsen and Clancy Brown are the only other original members of the Star Wars Rebels cast so far to cross over into Ahsoka, with having voiced the character in animation and then made that jump into live action for the Ahsoka show specifically. It's also worth noting that Thrawn was originally from Timothy Zahn's Star Wars book trilogy, which Disney deemed as non-canon. Of course, this means Ahsoka and Star Wars Rebels showrunner Dave Filoni is responsible for bringing the villain from book to animation and now live action, really just keeping the character of Thrawn alive while he can. Still though, while Mikkelsen's first Thrawn appearance is a huge moment for the Star Wars faithful, Ahsoka Episode 6 is seemingly only the beginning. I was also very surprised as to how much we saw Thrawn in Ahsoka Episode 6. He actually dominated the episode, and being the main focus of the episode was really quite amazing, apart from having Sabine in her kind of side quest of going off and finding Ezra Bridger, as we did see at the end of the episode. Of course, I'll have plenty of other videos here on the channel shortly discussing and explaining and even theorizing a little bit more on both Thrawn and Ezra Bridger here on the channel shortly. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button and that notification bell if you haven't already. I would also say that I feel like a lot of other Star Wars fans out there have been discussing this about Ahsoka Episode 6, really as their only complaint about this episode is that for a show that's called Ahsoka, we really didn't see all that much of Ahsoka in this episode, and while it's kind of a given, and there really isn't necessarily any way around that, when she's stuck in hyperspace on a boring ride, quite honestly, I'm glad that we were able to focus on a much more interesting aspect of the the story and narrative, especially with something that still pushes it forward and giving us more. And so, as I did mention, I will be discussing both Thrawn and Ezra Bridger in a separate feature video here on the channel in more depth and in more detail, discussing a number of theories as well on their characters. Of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions and theories in the comment section down below. Please guys, let me know what you guys are all thinking. And so, as I had mentioned, having Lars Mikkelsen making seemingly Star Wars history with having playing the villain of Thrawn in animation first, and then making that jump into live action is the first time that we've ever really seen that with a villain of animation into live action. It has gone though, however, vice versa, of having Count Dooku and then having him in animation played by the late Christopher Lee. Although, of course, it is still an interesting aspect to point out and discuss a little bit about with. The overall way of how Lars Mikkelsen has brought this character though, however, into and from animation into live action is seemingly seamless. It really does feel quite natural. I think it's the best way to describe it. Absolutely perfect. It feels like there wasn't any change to his character. Often as of when we have a character that is first beginning in animation and then makes a transition into live action, it may feel a little bit off, and this is how a lot of fans out there felt about Ahsoka, well, at least first for the time being. I believe that we all can agree that Rosario Dawson has played a phenomenal character of Ahsoka for her own Disney Plus show. With Thrawn though, however, it is something that just feels perfect and seemingly seamless, as I had mentioned. I also feel like that Thrawn, maybe to a point, has made Star Wars history with having an episode, a Star Wars television episode that is more focused on the villain much rather than the main heroes, is something very interesting. And while I could be wrong, I don't believe that we've ever really seen this all that much in actual Star Wars television, at least in the recent with the Disney era. I do believe this to be another way as of to how Thrawn, or Lars Mikkelsen's Thrawn, has made some Star Wars history. I wonder if we will have more Thrawn-focused episodes in the future of not just the Ahsoka show, but also in the future of the Mandoverse. Potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, for an Ahsoka Season 2 as well, I think is something that a lot of Star Wars fans out there would really appreciate and love to see more of. And not only is this episode 6 of Ahsoka the beginning for live-action Thrawn, it is simply just a mere taste of what is to come in the future. The character is also expected to serve as the primary villain of Dave Filoni's Mandoverse crossover movie that had been announced at the beginning of this year at Star Wars Celebration, acting as a culmination of all of these Mandoverse shows. Of course, guys, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What did you guys think about having Thrawn in Ahsoka Episode 6? This was just one of those things that I felt that I had to make a whole separate focused video on, because it was just that amazing and that historic, I believe, for Star Wars history. Of course, guys, let me know what you guys are all thinking, your theories. I would love to hear in the comment section down below. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.